2 defeats from our opening 2 Champions League games left us with work to do. But with Real Betis, Salzburg and Juventus next up, we had 3 huge opportunities to get our campaign back on track. Welcome back to the Sir Alex Ferguson Aberdeen Challenge here on Super Sammy Plays. And after starting our Champions League campaign with back-to-back defeats, we're still searching for our first points of the competition this season. And that isn't going to get any easier in this one, as we've got games against Italian giants Juventus and Austrian side Salzburg, who I'm pretty sure have actually beaten us every time we've played them so far. We also welcome Spanish side Real Betis to Petodry, and after the start we've made, that is looking more and more like a must-win game. So, can this Aberdeen side get the European campaign back on track? Let's get into it and find out. And we're going to be starting this one with the biggest tie of the 3 European games, as we welcome Juventus to Petodry, and we look to have got off to a brilliant start in this one, with Martin Birnblad looking like he's opened the scoring with inside 15 minutes, but as you can see from this replay, he was offside and the goal did get ruled out. And then it was Juventus' turn after a good tackle on Urena, who was dawdling on the ball. Vlahovic tries to counter-attack, pulls it back to the edge, pass inside to Locatelli, who finds Vlahovic, who puts a great finish into the far corner. But just like the Birnblad goal, this one was also ruled out for offside. But we did have another chance in this one. We actually had plenty of chances in this one. We were certainly the stronger of the side, as a 1-2 between Profundi and Sato, and Birnblad has an effort blocked, which would have been, I would have thought, a certain goal. And then 5 minutes later, Profundi getting free down the right, and he tries to go all the way, but a save from Di Gregorio to keep the game at 0-0. And then straight up the other end, Kalulu heading in from a free kick to give Juventus a probably undeserved 1-goal lead. And then we get our second half started, kind of like we did the first, as Birnblad puts into the bottom corner. But just like in the first half, it does get ruled out again for another offside. And quite a little bit more clear this one. We do then go close in the 56th minute with a shot from range hitting the post. And unfortunately, Levi couldn't capitalise on it. And then we do win the ball back here, and a great ball over the top from Gibbs White, when a wonderful finish from Martin Birnblad. But for the 3rd time in this match, I didn't even show the replay because I was fuming. We had a goal ruled out for offside. So it just wasn't going to be our day. And this shot from Doig probably just about sums it up, as his shot goes over the crossbar. And we do go on to lose the game 1-0 to Juventus. So I felt pretty hard done by after that game, after having 3 goals ruled out, all for Martin Birnblad, all for offside. Things didn't get any better in this one. And I got caught on the tactics screen yet again, missing our first goal, and Birnblad did score in this one. And thankfully, it wasn't ruled out for offside, which was a nice change after what we'd just seen. There was a VAR check, but thankfully it was awarded, and I did leave the replay up so we could see it after me getting caught on that tactics screen, as Sato whips the ball in, and I don't know why there was a VAR check. It was clearly onside, but a great finish. Good ball, good finish. Easy 1-goal lead. But things just weren't going our way at the moment. And in the 86th minute, Cormac plays it inside to Jones. Jones with a lovely little flick. And what a finish this is from Asong. From outside the box to level the game up. I thought I'd even show you their goal again. Lovely little back heel flick to Asong. And what a finesse that is. Straight into the top bin to make it 1-1. And we drop points in the league after dropping points again in Europe. So after those 2 results, I did decide to change up the tactics again. And we've gone for a 4-1-2-1-2 here. So pretty standard formation. And gone with the 2 strikers. So we'll see how we get on with that, as we don't actually have a lot of strikers since changing to just the 1 striker formation previously. And our first test for it was going to be against St Johnstone. And it wasn't going to start off great, as inside the 3rd minute, they do fire it into the top corner with Samu Bakera. And we go down 1-0 early on in this one. And it gets even worse 10 minutes later, after that effort hitting the post, coming straight back to Will Wright, and he gives St Johnstone a 2-goal lead. We do manage to pull one back, though, just 5 minutes later, with a great ball to the far post. And Jay Robinson continuing his great start to the season with Aberdeen, as he heads into the bottom corner and makes it 2-1. But all the scoring inside this one was done in the 22nd minute, as Frank Shack scores for St Johnstone for their 3rd time in the match, and they do go on to beat us 3-1. So Not a good start for the new tactics, but we'll see how we get on. We'll give them more of a chance. And yeah, we do get all this money for the obviously playing in the Champions League. And yeah, I thought Joe Robinson, as he's certainly been one of the shining lights for us so far this season, and he's making good improvements. And yeah, some nice upwards arrows there. And I'm very happy to have got this guy on a free transfer. And yeah, our form certainly has not been good at the moment. 3 losses in the last 4 games. Certainly, we need to start improving. And we've got a chance to do it here against Celtic in the League Cup semi-final. So yeah, another big test for us. And yeah, Jimenez nearly scored an absolute worldie in this one. And then a chance for Celtic as they go close from that corner with the header being saved just over the bar. And then, just like the Juventus game, we are back to scoring offside goals. And unfortunately, it's Profundi this time, as his effort is ruled out for offside. Thankfully, though, we do get a goal and go in front inside 31st minute with Sato finding Martin Wernblad. And yeah, he's certainly been scoring a lot of goals. But imagine how many he'd have scored if you could actually stay on side. But then, Semi, finally. He's not been scoring a lot of goals for us this season, but he does score in this one to give us a 2-goal lead and potentially put us through to the League Cup final. Sorry, I was going to say Scottish Cup then. We're a bit early for that one, but Engels did make it a little bit nervy for the last 8 minutes or so as he does pull one back. Thankfully, we do go on to win and go through to the final. But on to what is I'm regarding as a must-win game against Real Betis at Pataudry in Europe. And yeah, Wernblad, I'm not entirely sure what he's doing with that shot. What an effort. What a chance, sorry. Not an effort. The effort was absolutely dreadful. And then Funk on his weak foot, pulling out a great save from the goalkeeper. But we do finally get the lead in the 24th minute. As Wernblad, I'm not entirely sure how he got that finish away, but it's a great finish to beat the keeper and give us a 1-goal lead. But we weren't going to have it all our own way as Nguema gets tackled. And then the shot from Altamira coming in from outside the box and levelling the game up very quickly after we'd scored. But it was us doing all the attacking in this one as Adam has an effort save from the goalkeeper and from that resulting corner. Sato pulling it back to Brent Pelage and unfortunately his effort going just wide of the post as well. On to the second half. Sato getting free down the right and he crosses to the far post and Eric Adam hitting the crossbar with a header. He was causing chaos for Betis in this one. And then in the 76th, Sato shooting from range, bringing out a good save from the goalkeeper again. And we do finally get a winner in the 86th minute as Ofer Levi heads home from a corner. And we finally pick up our first 3 points in Europe with a 2-1 victory. So after that win, can we go and get another one as we play Hearts at home in the league? And Ofer Levi does what he did at the end of the Betis game, scoring a header. And what a game this was, by the way, for the neutral, for Ofer Levi, for Aberdeen fans. It was just unbelievable. Levi obviously scoring that first header. Hearts did level it up, and then Ofer Levi gets his second goal of the game with a great finish. But just like after we scored the first one, Hearts do pull one back, and it goes 2-2-2. 2-2-2-2. And then Funk getting brought down, not entirely sure what Bernard is doing there, but we do get a penalty, and Sato is going to step up. The goalkeeper does go the right way, but a good finish to make it 3-2 and give us our lead back. And Ofer Levi scores his second header of the game, and that is his hat-trick. But he isn't done there, as he scores his third header of the game for his 4th goal of the game. Unbelievable stuff from our defensive midfielder, by the way. Hearts did pull another one back to make it 5-3. But we weren't going to stop scoring as Semi does get on the score sheet to make it 6. And then Hernandez crossing into the middle for the second time and Semi pulling it back to Ansu Fati who makes it 7. And we wrapped up the scoring inside the 81st minute with a great solo effort from Jay Robinson as we go on to beat Hearts 8-3. And yeah, what a performance that was, especially from Ofer Levi with those 4 goals from defensive midfield. We did get Milivanovic's agent come to us saying he wants an improved contract after that performance. I'm not entirely sure what he did to deserve that. But when I actually went to offer him one, he basically wanted to be a guaranteed starter. And you all know how Jimenez has been doing for us over the last few seasons. So I weren't willing to offer that. which obviously upset Milovanovic. And then we got another issue with the contract as Levi could depart in 19 months. We had this message pop up and I went to offer him a contract, but I noticed he had a non-negotiable minimum release clause of 19 million. And you've seen how they have come back to bite us over the last few seasons, so I weren't willing to do that either. So hopefully we can speak to his agent a little bit further down the line and make that negotiable so we can actually remove it and then we can offer him a new contract. And unfortunately, Michael Funk has picked up a moderate knee ligament sprain on international duty, so he's going to be out for a little while, which is a bit of a shame. And then, just as we look like we're getting players back with Hadjet resuming full training, Batty, his third abdominal strain since being at the club. We played him a couple of times and believe it or not, he's picked up another injury. It's just part and parcel of having Ansu Fati in the team, apparently. And so we did go to speak to Milovanovic, and after speaking with his agent, he did allow us to bring it back down to providing competition for places, which is what we were looking for. And we offer him a squad player with the promise of being a regular starter later on in his career at Aberdeen. Unfortunately, he does also want a minimum release clause of 20 million, but with this one, I was kind of happy to accept it. He's a fullback. They tend to not be quite as expensive, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. He's certainly making improvements, and I'm pleased with what he's been doing, so we'll see what he can do with this new contract. And after I think he actually did score in the last game. He hasn't started particularly great for us, considering we spent quite a lot of money on him. Just the 3 goals so far. I decided to have a chat with him and hope that we could do what we did with Leonardo. And just basically say, you need to start scoring, else you're going to be out of the team. In which he did accept and understand. So hopefully he can start bagging some goals and catch up with what Profundi's been doing for us. And if he's to do that in this match, he's going to be from the bench as we play Livingston at home. And not the greatest start in this one, as inside 2 minutes we do concede a goal from Sean Savoury. Not so sweet for us as we go 1-0 down. But Hadjek, just back from injury, the youngster, finally getting a chance to play some games now. We're using the 2 strikers. And what a finish that is from Jay Robinson from the edge of the box. Lovely curling effort, and certainly one that we wanted to see again. Yeah, just gets it on his right foot and bends it into the far corner. That is a FIFA-style finesse if I've ever seen one. And we do manage to get the winner in the 56th minute as Jimenez pulls it back to Profundi. And Hadjek's header going past the keeper, giving us a 2-1 lead. And very happy for the youngster who's finally getting a good run of games now. And it's nice to see Hadjek getting some recognition from the media as well. As they say, he is shining as we win, which is very nice to see. And then I wouldn't usually show this in the edit, but Carlos Alexander has finished his language development course, which you might remember last year he failed, and that is when he ended up going on a leave of absence. So it looks like everything is funky-dory with him, or hunky-dory rather, as he's finally completed that. So it looks like he is finally settling at the club, which is very good. And Robinson getting his bonus of a combined 10 league goals and assists for the season with that absolute wonder strike against Livingston. So next up we have an away tie against Salzburg, who if you've seen previous seasons you'll know are a tricky fixture for us. His Profundi's effort is saved there, and then unfortunately Pedro Silva hitting the post this time. And then I'm pretty sure this was a foul on Profundi, not entirely sure how they got away with it, but Yo gets free down the left, crosses into the middle and tried to intercept it, deflects it straight to Diakite, who taps into the far corner to give Salzburg a 1-goal lead. We do manage to pull it back with what looked to be a great finish from Wernblad, but it was deflective and is going to go down as an old goal by Kratzik and level the game up. But just like how it always goes every time we play Salzburg, Gitano does put them back in front with another goal, and they do go on to win the game 2-1, and we lose another very important game in Europe. But when I actually looked at the match stats for this one, I was very surprised considering the highlights were fairly even. We actually had 21 shots compared to Salzburg's 5. So just like the Juventus game, I am feeling very hard done by after this one. But the good thing of playing European football is you very quickly get a chance to turn things around if you've lost in midweek. And we get our chance against Falkirk away in the league in this one. And Josh Doig gets us off to a great start as he pulls it into the middle for Profundi, who could not miss from 1 yard out. And then we quickly added a second in the 18th minute with Jay Robinson with another absolute wonder strike. He's certainly got a great shot in his locker, hasn't he? We don't have it all our own way again, though, as Falkirk do pull it into the middle, and what looked to be a bit of a mistake from the goalkeeper Vitek, after he complained about his game time, gets Falkirk back in it. But Robinson having a shot deflected there, coming back to Hajek, obviously playing a lot more. Jimenez pulls it into the middle. Profundi gets his second goal of the game to restore our 2-goal advantage. But just like after the last time we had a 2-goal advantage, we went and conceded. And that's exactly what we did again with Ronan Hale pulling another goal back for Falkirk. But thankfully, no shocks here. As Doig gets free down the left, pulling it back to Levi. He pulls it into the middle. Sarto laying it off for Hernandez. And he scores to make it 4-2 and restore our 2-goal advantage. So I hadn't actually realised until I saw this message that Profundi had gone 11 hours without scoring a goal. And after I'd been sort of slagging Semi off for not doing well enough, yeah, it turns out Profundi had gone on a little bit of a barren spell as well. But he has started scoring now, so that is good to see. Hopefully that can continue going forward. And I thought I'd have a little look to see how the squad is doing. And Martin Wernblad, unsurprisingly, our top goal scorer with 12 at this point. Levi from DM in with 8 in second, which is quite surprising. And then Robinson and Sarto, pretty unsurprising there. They are both third and fourth. And Sarto with 12 assists as well, our top assister for the season. And Profundi, what's he on? 5 and 5. So not too bad. But I would have expected more. And after I mentioned about Hajek getting a lot more game time, obviously we are playing with 2 strikers now. And we only really have Fundy, Wernblad and Hajek as the strikers. I think Semi's mainly been playing on the wing. So I did go ahead and make an offer for this man, Moise Keane, available on a free transfer. He is 31 now, but he does have 17 natural fitness, which is pretty good. So he should stay fitter for longer. So that is nice to see. And 45k, 50k a week, not too bad in terms of the wages. So hopefully he can come in and help us out in that goal scoring department. So we ended up losing another 2 of our Champions League games. But looking at the match stats, I can't help but feel hard done by. We had 3 goals ruled out against Juventus and missed a huge amount of chances against Salzburg. So despite the result, there are some positive signs there. The switch to a 4-1-2-1-2 seems to have given us a little bit of a spark despite that first initial loss against St Johnstone. The performances have improved, the goals are starting to flow, and hopefully this is the last tactical change we need to make this season. But if you want to see whether this system can get our season back on track, you'll have to tune in next time. If you've enjoyed this one, do me a favour, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.